for me, the big change between the traditional record company model, which started off in favour of the artists in a way where artists were signed because of their long-term musical talent. People went out, an A&R guy went out, he saw potential in someone, and the record company then, and management and so forth, developed that artist, developed that talent, found them an audience, and increased that audience for them. The record company in the early days was working for the artist, and to an extent, I suppose, deserved the money that they were getting from the artist. What happened, and I think it happened after the big DIY explosion of the late 70s punk scene, where a lot of bands went out and not only did their own recording and sold the records out of the boot of their car driving around the country, the record companies suddenly took control back. They didn't like that idea of artists getting the freedom. And through the 80s, we saw more and more rigid recording deals. And by the 90s, we had a situation where if artists didn't have a hit straight away, record companies had got rid of that idea of artist development. It was like, it had to be immediate success. And it was at that point that I feel that the relationship between the major labels and management and booking promoters and the whole industry was that the artists were now working for them. So we sign you and we send you out to earn money for us. It was more of a boss employee deal. And I think that's why we started to see a return to a DIY. And it's not so much that an artist can physically do everything themselves. Obviously, at times you're going to need an expert. You're going to need an accountant, a lawyer, a manager, a booking agent, a merchandiser. You're going to need those people, but as Jake said, an artist can now pick and choose that. That's the DIY model I see now, is that the artist is back in control, and that these people, they select who they choose. They don't sign a 360-degree where one person or one company owns every part of them. The artist can pick and choose who they want to work. Like you can pick the plumber that comes to your house or the electrician that comes to do different jobs. And the model has changed, that the artist is now in control of who is working for them, and hopefully can replace that person too. They're not signed to a lifelong deal with the one person. So DIY for me is always, the artist is always going to need someone, particularly as they become more successful. But they are now able to have more choice about who that person is and the longevity of that agreement. And the terms and conditions of the agreement, I think, are now more in favour of the artist. No one wants to sign with a major label now, and if they do, they're mad. They're insane if they want to sign with a major label. A 360.
Tell me why.
Well, I think because I'm now teaching, so I teach a class in music business. So I'm teaching students who are musicians, and they do want to, in the early stages of their career, take control of all this themselves.